Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. It's the latest retro revolution, where no one's done this quest before. We're currently playing the video games released November 1982. And we were last on the Atari home computer, 400 or 800, playing the amazing Aztec Challenge. Let's see what the next release is. Coming up next is Black Hole for the Commodore VIC-20. And yes, William Shatner can't leave us alone. We gotta buy that Commodore VIC-20. This shouldn't be confused with Black Hole that we played in the arcade by Gamatron in 1981, or The Black Hole that was on the TRS-80 by Funsoft. This is a totally different game. How many black holes are out there? Here's the box for Black Hole on the Commodore VIC-20. That is really, really cool. The front of the box is using the fancy 3D graphics, showing us the grid, but it's bending space and time. Are we going to escape from the black hole? I don't know. We flip it over in the back. It explains a little bit about it. Oh, this one's by Tom Greiner. Way to go, Tom. The 8th game we've seen by him. And all the games he's done has been on the Commodore VIC-20. Maybe all that training will come down to this. The irresistible gravitational force is drawing your ship, as well as a variety of space debris, into a raging black hole. Your mission is to survive, manipulating your ship to avoid being sucked into the black hole or be hit by any space objects. So it's more impressive than the very first game we ever played on the show in 1971, where we're getting sucked to the middle. There's our controls. We can use joystick or keyboard, and it explains how to play. As usual, turn off your system, put the cartridge in, then turn on the system. If you haven't got it by now, you're never going to get it. Let's see the other artwork we have for Black Hole. Yes, we're caught in a gravitational pull, rotating 360 degrees. We fly forwards and fire cannons. We put the black hole gravitational pull, and it'll continue to pull us toward the screen and our death. There's the cartridge. Oh, cartridges on the Commodore VIC-20. I love cartridges. Something about instant gameplay just appeals to me. Oh, we have an example of the screenshot, kind of blowing it for everyone. This was available in NTSC and PAL regions. We're going to play the first in North America. This is Tom Greiner and Creative Software at some time in the beginning of November 1982. This marks our 303rd game we've played on the Commodore VIC-20. Lots and lots of games to be had. And the 14th game we played by Creative Software. Go Creative Software, go! Now, I'm going to let the intro play a little bit because this is really, really impressive. This is the computer that came out before the Commodore 64. Watch what it's doing. It has particles flying around the screen. It is just a really impressive opening. Now, how do you get the game to go? You push a button, nothing happens. You push everything on the keyboard, nothing happens. Actually, I push the button and something is happening. On the left, there's a number counting down, but it doesn't do anything. How do you get the game to go? You push up on the joystick. That's how you do it. I don't even know if that's Quick Ditty or A Few Notes was a public domain song or not. It was way too fast. If anyone wants to point out if it was a public domain music song, I'd love to know. So in the middle of the screen, I'm looking very similar to Asteroids. This is, yet again, another multi-directional shooter. Oh man, this gravitational pull is really, really strong. This marks the 125th multi-directional shooter we've played. Some of the best are Asteroids. And one of the other really good ones on the Commodore VIC-20 was Omega Race. Oh, what happens? I wasn't near the black hole. I must have touched something else that sucked me in. This is so impressive. It's 3D wireframe graphics on this little computer, and you can tell how hard it's working. This looks like it's chugging. It can't handle it. Oh, I see. If you touch any of the debris, you just fall into the slipstream and you die. I mean, look at all this debris. I can even shoot the black hole, and it doesn't like that. It just flies out tons and tons of debris. I'm still going to call this a Space War variant, the really old school mainframe game, because it has the black hole in the center. We aren't able to play against anyone else. It's a single player game. But yeah, if you touch any debris, you're flying in. Ooh, the gravitational pull is really strong, but at least the slowdowns make it a little easier for me. And I've messed around with a few of the options to see if I could add more memory to increase the speed. It really doesn't help that much. There was another game we played that I thought it would help if I added more memory to the game, and it didn't either. Whoa, look at this. No, I almost flew right into it. It's amazing. What is this frame rate? Are we hitting like 3 frames per second? It's so slow, but it's so impressive. This is 3D on the Commodore VIC-20. I would be blown away if all I had was the Commodore VIC-20. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, right, it is very similar to Space War. This marks the 15th game we've played on the show that is like Space War. And when I say we played on the show, I'm talking all platforms, all systems that you could possibly play on. So far, I haven't got a game over, per se. Oh, I touched that debris, and you fly all the way in. Wow. That is awesome. Everything's going to get more and more 3D. We saw Way Out, the first time you can have a 3D maze game similar to the kind of graphics you'd see in Wolfenstein 3D way later. Just pretend I never said that name because we don't know what Wolfenstein 3D is right now. And then we saw the draw-in 3D game of the 3D golf simulation on the Fujitsu FM7, so 3D is coming, and this is it. We're going to have more 3D games just like this. That's pretty cool. There's a quick taste of Black Hole. Of all the games you could be playing across all home computers, the slowdown is the only drawback. The only thing I would say that is hindering this, but other than that, this is a really cool experience. Really, really fun. So over in the chat, if you are new to the show and you want to put your ratings out there, we rate everything based on right now what you could play at this point in November 1982. And we rate these games across all the other home computers that were out there, not just the Commodore VIC-20. If you look at this game and say, this game is broken, out of all the games you could play, you'd rate this somewhere around the 1-star range. If you tell yourself, this is a bad game, I think this is bad, you'd rate this somewhere around the 2-star range. If you think this is pretty average for all the games you could play across all home computers, then you'd be around the 3-star range. If you think this is really good, excellent, above average, then you'd be around the 4-star range. If you think this is one of the best games you could play across all home computers, then you're somewhere around the 5-star range. So looking over in the chat, I see mostly averages, 3 stars or 3.5 stars. Yeah, 3.5. And then Hunter even gave it a pi. Sure, pi, why not? 3.14. All right, so let's do 3.5 of all the games you could play. It is above average. The frame rate is atrocious, but I still would have enjoyed it. All right, let's press forward to see our next game. We're next going to play on the TRS-80 Color Computer. The Coco won't give up, and this is Breakthru. Not to be confused with Breakthru on the Commodore PET from 1979. In fact, there's 2 games on the Commodore PET from 1979 called Breakthru like this. And it's not Breakthru on the Apple II from 1979. And it's not Breakthru on the Ohio Scientific from 1979. It was a big year for Breakthru 1979. And it's also not a type-in game on the TRS-80 by Softside magazine. This is a whole new Breakthru. Here's the box for Breakthru. This one is big. This is a big release. When you see what this game is, it's pretty cool. This actually is a later release of the box. This is November 1982. The name of this game right now is called 3D Brickaway. That's what it was called first. This is technically the January 1983 box and the game when Avalon Hill picked it up. So I'm going to be lumping them together. So we're kind of fudging the numbers for this one. So what you're seeing right here is a little bit of the future. Just a few months in the future. If we flip it over the back, there we go. Avalon Hill picked this up from Britt Monk. That did this first. So the original was done by Britt Monk, and then he sold it to Avalon Hill, or Avalon Hill took it. This is a fast-action, 3-dimensional, high-res graphics, machine language arcade game. They put all this on the back of the box? That's ridiculous. More than just a game, realistic sounds and graphics are used to give a very exciting simulation of motion and perspective in 3D space. Okay, so just brass tacks. This is a bunch of marketing mumbo-jumbo. This is essentially 3D Breakout. That's what we're looking at. This is a racquetball-like game, and it's a 3D variation of Breakout. We're at the end of a rectangular room, and the other end is walls made of bricks, and what do? You got to break them all down. Break all the bricks. Here on the home computer, you have to break every single brick to move to the next level. If the ball gets past the paddle, you'll lose the ball, and every level has more bricks per wall. You always have 5 lives, though, whenever you play. That's, when I'm marketing the game, that's the actual game. What other artwork do we have for Breakthru? Or, as it is called now, 3D Brickaway. There, the ad you would have seen other ones by Avalon Hill. And everything up there, we've seen it all. Oh, wait, Midway Campaign, I don't think we've seen that one yet. That one's coming soon. And then they have a Voyager over there, too. Very nice. Yeah, here we go. There's Breakthru. You can do paddle controls. And this one that we're going to be playing on is the one on the Coco, the first time you could ever play it. And that one's using the analog joystick. You can pause the screen here if you want to see all the action or how to play the game. They're explaining how it works because this would blow your mind. 3D Breakout, that makes no sense. Here's the cassette you could pop into play on your TRS-80 Coco. And an example of the screenshot, they're kind of giving it away. Here's the manual for Breakthru. And again, I can't stress this enough. This is not, Breakthru was not released right now in November. It was 3D Brickaway. That's the one we're going to be playing. It just happens to be the exact same game. So after we get through that, oh, nice. They tell us all about the, oh, so it's all the directions that we saw before, plus it explains how you miss a ball. And they're trying to explain the 3D perspective, like so you can grasp that you're watching the screen from a first-person view down the hallway as if you were playing Breakout from the bottom. It's just really funny. It's like they're trying to teach a bunch of monkeys how to play the game. It's 3D Breakout. You understand, right? Let's explain it several different ways. And they even have some tips and tricks if you want to get some help for it. So great manual, but it is the later manual. All right, so it is November. We're playing 3D Brickaway. This is done by Britmonk and originally published by Britmonk at some time in the beginning of November 1982. All right, so this one we got to do a little bit of typing to get us in. I believe it is, let's see. See what the command is. Yes, I want to 3D brick. Everybody say it with me. 3D brick. This marks the 151st game we've played on the Coco. This was first available on the Coco, by the way. It's going to go on lots of other home computers after this one. All right, so here we go. The game begins. You can see 3D Brickaway in the top left. Britmonk, published by Britmonk right now, and then it gets picked up by Avalon Hill, and then published, I'm pretty sure, January 1983. Yeah. I wanted a detract mode. I wanted to see something like the arcade, but I don't think they're going to give it to us. All right, so here we go. I got our analog joystick, and I'm just going to click the button. Watch this. Ready? Look at this. What is this? It is Breakout. Now, it's almost like we're playing just one level of Breakout. You know, there's not several bricks, but I actually have to hit every single brick, and I got to match up the paddle in 3 dimensions. Look at this. I can move freely all around. The analog joystick makes it a lot of fun, but if you miss like that, it has a terrible sound to tell you that you missed. But wow, 3D is coming, and I'm all for it. This is so cool. We've played a lot of breakouts of all the systems up to this point. This is the 61st variant of Breakout, and that's, of all those Breakout variants, I would give this one the nod as the most original of all the breakouts. We played so many different variations of people trying to be, and think of the official breakouts that are out there. I think there's 6 official breakouts that you could play, but the rest of those variants, this is the most original concept and idea. It's amazing they did this. I am amazed that I can get it to work. One way you can tell that it's getting close to the screen is there's this little Easter egg that you can see. I'm doing terrible now. As it gets close to the screen, it says things like, "This is fun." I don't know if you can see it. It's just single frames getting close to the ball to let you know that it's about to hit the paddle. Controls are as good as they could be. It has a license too. Nice. It says things like the ball says "oops," and it'll say it is fun with an exclamation point. I've never played any video game so far that's a ball and paddle game from this perspective. That's how big this is. This is the 119th ball and paddle or Pong-like video game on the show, and this is the very first time they've ever given it a 3D perspective like this. It's really difficult to gauge because notice that there's no shadow at the bottom telling me when it gets close. I have to pay attention to where the ball's bouncing and essentially just keep it on the ball the whole time. Just keep it in frame as long as you can. How you would break every single brick, that's got to be really, really hard. Also, did you notice on the box, this is sponsored by Sports Illustrated? I don't know why Sports Illustrated is sponsoring this one. This is the 5th game we played that Sports Illustrated has been a part of. Imagine a world where there's only 5 games that have Sports Illustrated slapped on the front. It's amazing. Yes, this possibly could be, I just saw in the chat, the very first video game with subliminal messages where you will like the game. You will have fun. This is fun. Oh yeah, the audio is nothing to be desired. Majority of the power is going to the graphics, getting this to display and run this way. I also love the idea of the transparent paddle. That is really, really impressive. Yeah, if you enjoyed Breakout, it's a different perspective, so it may not appeal to everybody. I would give the original Breakout games more of a relaxed feeling. You want to play a game that isn't crazy difficult or too hectic. You're actually getting a really good zone. This one, you have to feel it's almost like you're doing something completely different, a completely different type of game. Oh gosh, see how fast they're already going? God, that's really tricky. And yeah, the music is ugh. This is Britmonk's 6th game that we played. He did Gauntlet, not the Gauntlet you're thinking of. He did Shootout at the OK Galaxy and VC. And this is the 6th game we've seen by Avalon Hill. But again, Avalon Hill's going to get this one in January 1983. So many different games. And this was going to be released later with lots of other names. It's going to be called three-dimensional racquetball. It's going to be called Wall Ball when they release it later. So it's lots of home computers, and I believe the Atari 2600 is going to get one too. Whoa, it's so fast. Go. So cool. Yep, so I'm getting a better idea of how it works. Look how crazy fast this is. That's just amazing. I also don't know about how the English works, how it spins off the paddle. I'm really familiar on the 2D games, but not this one so much. There you go. So that's 3D Brickaway, as it's called right now, and then later as Breakthru. Of all the games you could be playing across all home computers, you would be wowed. You would be amazed at 3D Brickaway. I understand why Avalon Hill picked it up. I don't understand why Sports Illustrated is sponsoring it, but I think that's awesome. I'm looking over in the chat. I see some 3.5s, maybe 4. Yeah, actually, the novelty is really where it's at. And it's also going to be inspiring many other games after this. 3 stars or 3D stars. 3.5 stars, and even I see a 4 from Mark. I'm going to say this is awesome. This is an excellent game. 4 stars of all the games you can play across all home computers. It's going to be copied, and this is where it begins right here. 3D Breakout. What are they going to think of next? All right, with that, let's see what our next game is. Next, we're going to the United Kingdom to play on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This is Bubble Trouble. Let's check out Bubble Trouble, starting with the cassette case. Bubble Trouble is the arcade-style maze game in which your main goal is to collect all the objects present in the scenario during a specific period of time. And the front of the box, the front of the case, really doesn't explain anything about the game at all. In fact, I love this front of the box because there's some computer boxes that they're not telling you anything. They don't help you at all. Well, I mean, we are going to be playing as a criminal, by the way. We're supposed to be stealing things, teaching kids just terrible ethics and morals. And the bubbles are out to get us. And I think this is where the beginning of everyone in Europe that's designing video games makes bubbles kill you in video games. This game is the reason why. There's also some contention here because the Bubble Trouble game, this is by a company called Arcade. And Arcade, why would you call yourself that? Arcade Software. I only found one reference of this game being released in November. All other references say 1984. Not even near 1982. So it's quite possible that this game is not out yet. But because of that one reference, I'm putting it here. So be sure to tell me how terrible we are at finding the release dates of games in the comments down below. But I'll just say for right now, we'll say Bubble Trouble is out on the ZX Spectrum right now. 50 screens of action. That's a lot of screens. This marks our 118th game for the Specky. What other images do we have for Bubble Trouble? Oh yeah, we got another get an alternate box. a grainier one. And besides the box, there's the cassette to pop it and play. Is that what it looked like inside the bubble mark? I think that's all. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there we go. Bubble Trouble is a high-resolution, arcade-style, original arcade-type game with excellent use of color and sound. You are a burglar. Your aim in life is to steal anything you can. See, teaching great morals. The more you steal, the higher the points attainable. But hurry, the monsters are in the shape of bubbles. That's the monsters that suffocate on contact. And a time limit for each of the 50 screens is available. And we'll get into that when we get in the game. This is the other thing that's impressive. There's all 50 screens, and the other part of this game is it allows you to select which screen you want. It is a level select in the game, which is really, really rare. In fact, this might be the very first video game that you're able to select which screen you want to start on. Now, while it doesn't play, they're not connected, like Pitfall or anything like that, or Hungry Horse that we played on the ZX Spectrum. But this is allowing you to select which one you want to go with out of all these. So cool. Yeah, there's the example of the gameplay. We do have a homebrew manual. Someone typed up for us. We're playing as Basil the Burglar. And we have our swag bag is what it says. So it's breaking down how the game works and loading instructions. Also, how you control the game. You're going to need that one too. Wow. Yes, right? There's got to be plenty of Easter eggs in this one. All right, so this one has just a couple different versions. Let's pop in and play Bubble Trouble. This is done by Bruce Rutherford. Arcade software, possibly November 1982. Possibly. Yeah, I don't know how well it's going to work for us. All right, so yeah, I saw one reference of November 1982. Everything else is around 1984. All right, so we can pick the skill level we want. And this is broken down by, if we pick Novice, there's only one bubble after us. And we get 60 seconds to steal as many treasures as possible. If we pick Average, then we have 2 bubbles coming after us, and we have 90 seconds to steal as many things as we can. If we pick Expert, that's 3 bubbles, and we get 120 seconds. So I'm going to go with Novice. So I'm saying 1. And then now, here's what's cool. It's going to ask us to select what screens we want, and now it's going to cycle through screens. So you're actually selecting what screen you want. And whenever you pick the screen, you hit Y on the keyboard. It's allowing you to pick the screen to start on. It is so cool. I can't believe that this is a feature in a game. And it's something we're going to see a lot more prevalent later with other games. But yeah, I'm scrolling through every single screen just because what a novelty it is to pick the screen to start on. And it actually reminds me of looking down, top down for something like Bomberman later, but we're not going to see Bomberman for a long time. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to go with the first one, and then I can't believe how many screens there are. And then get going. Ready and go. All right, so here's the way the game works. As you move around, the one bubble is going to chase us. I pick up as many of the artifacts, I'm stealing them, by the way, as I can. It's a top-down maze game, and you even have the little warps on the side that go left and right. Now, if this would be really, really impressive on the ZX Spectrum if we hadn't already seen Hungry Horse. That one blows us out of the water because it connects screens, so it's like you're playing something bigger or larger than this. So after I collect all the treasures, now I got to work my way to get as many points as I can before the timer goes out. So not only are you going for stealing treasures, but you're also going for greed, getting the points as fast as possible. We want to try to get them all the way to 1,000. So it's increasing higher and higher. Come on, come on, come on. Get over to the 700, and if we can do that, then we'll be able to. If we get to 1,000, then it has another item we can pick up, and then we move on to the next screen. And it's all about the points still. Now, this is a top-down arcade-style maze game. Of all the games we played here on the show, this is the 284th top-down maze game. Not an original concept. Darn, the bubble got me. Those darn bubbles. And then whenever you do get caught, then you go right over from the beginning. In. I'm not going to... Yep. Yeah. The AI is actually pretty intelligent. The bubble does follow you around, so it's you will, if you don't keep yourself on your toes, get caught. That's too bad. But yeah, simple idea. It's not giving us a power-up. I couldn't find any power-up, so it's essentially, are you smart enough to run away from everybody in the maze? Let's see if we can do it again. And this is just one of the stages, one of the levels that you can play. Okay, here we go. Getting better. Now we got to get all the way to the other side. I'll warp over. Oh, you have to juke the... There we go. The bubble. Nice. All right, looking good. right, looking all right. That's it. Come on. I'll try the other side and see if I can get him. Almost there. And if you do end up, if I can finally collect everything, then you'll go on to the next screen after that. Oh, I think I know that sound. There you go, and you move on to the next screen. All right, so there you go. That's a taste of Bubble Trouble. You get the concept. Simple idea. They're taking away the power-ups of Pac-Man, and the things you collect aren't a bunch of dots. You actually have to go steal some treasure. For the Sinclair ZX Spectrum, this is very impressive looking. I can understand how this one would be released in 1984, especially since the other game that I know of by Arcade Software, which is an amazing name for a company, was in 1984. So if this was later in 1984, it'd be pretty meh. Right now, actually, it's awesome. Very average for all the games you could play. It's not really doing anything super impressive. I even see someone in the chat throwing out a 2.5 star of all the games you could play. But I'll say average. 3 stars for all the games you could play up to this point, especially if it was released here in November 1982. Yeah, there you go. And I even got a 3.5 from the chat. Excellent. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. It's next time to go to the arcade and play Bump and Jump. Are you ready for some Bump and Jump? I'm so excited to go to the arcade. It's been so long. Here's the advertisement flyer for Bump and Jump. We have already seen this game. In Japan, it was called Burnin' Rubber by Data East in the arcade of September 1982, and now released either North America or worldwide as Bump and Jump. It's the race and chase into video game excitement. Oh, look at that. He's riding the car arcade cabinet. Awesome. Flip it over the back. It explains how to play. You're going to be moving and driving your car around and destroying other cars. It's not just a racing game. And you have a jump mechanic too, which is awesome. Data East USA, bring it on. So this is actually is the advertisement flyer we saw for Burnin' Rubber. They just changed the logo for Bump and Jump. And I believe they did change it in other regions. Like it looked like Burning Rubber, like this artwork, and then they changed the logo to be Bump and Jump. And then we have the later one. There's the arcade PCB, and if it was on the Deco cassette system, that's the cassette tape arcade system, it would look like that. Here's the control panel. We have an 8-way joystick. Looks more like 4-way there, but we have 2 jump buttons, and it is 1 or 2 player, but it's hot seat style. Arcade hot seat style. Way before that one. Here's the arcade marquee for Bump and Jump. Very well done. Artwork is beautiful. Beautiful. Perfect for it. There's the cassette tape. If you want to play your arcades on cassette, you can do it that way. We are not going to be playing on cassette and waiting for that to load. There's just a mock-up of it. And then excellent artwork for Bump and Jump with a screenshot. I love it. Well, if you're an operator and you got the Bump and Jump arcade cabinet, what does it say? 2 different flavors of the arcade cabinet, the upright or cocktail. We're going to be playing upright. We have no alcoholic beverages with us tonight. This is for 1 or 2 players, and it explains how the game works. You direct your players successfully through the game course. Your job is to give guidance and provide offensive and defensive strategy to enable your player to overcome all obstacles. Not sure what they're going for there. If you do the 2-player mode, they're explaining that cocktail version will allow you to play on both sides, you and one or 2 players. And then as the skill level increases, you'll notice the offensive abilities greatly increase. Any advantages you once had at the beginning of the game will gradually be reduced until they are completely gone. They are really terrible at explaining it in this manual. But I like the game objective. Can you see that one? The object of the game is to have fun and survive as long as possible while constantly improving your skills and advancing to the highest rack that you can. As you do this, each following rack of the game will have more and greater obstacles for you to overcome and will in general be harder to complete. That is like a corporate businessman explaining arcade games right now. that was pretty bad. They have a screenshot explaining what everything is in the game, the score, high score, enemy cars, players jumping car animation, and then how many cars you have in reserve. It breaks down the different modes. All arcade cabinets have different modes. The test mode, and then you can see we go past the test mode, they go to the attract mode. What the attract mode looks like. Oh, so cool. And they explain the ready to play mode, and there's where it breaks down what the game's like. You're centered on the screen, and this goes through so many things. If you want to be a pro, you need to be reading this manual right now of Bump and Jump. It explains the best way to play the game. Man, if only everybody had this in the arcade. And then the high score table mode, as most arcade cabinets have that. Yeah, if you do 2-player, you got to take turns. So it won't matter here on the show if I'm by myself. So this one was available 3 different ways. You could have been played on the Deco cassette system in Japan, which may have also been Burning Rubber. You could have played this in by Data East themselves, bringing Bump and Jump. But we're going to play the one from North America here in November 1982 by Bally Midway. This was originally by Tsuyoshi Kitazawa of Data East. This is Bally Midway, November 1982. It's time to get in and play some Bump and Jump. This marks the 471st video game we've played in the arcade. Lots of arcade games and so much fun. All right, let's, they're going to do a little bit of track, but let's just go right in. Put that coin in and go. Oh, man. So cool. So the joystick allows me to go left and right. If I push up at the joystick, I start speeding up. If I speed up enough, it says jump okay. And that means I can jump, have the car go up. But that's not where you're going to get the points. The best way to get the points is you ram these cars into the sides, and that's where you get them out of your way, but you also are able to get extra bonus points from that. But you also have a little bit of backlash like that. If you bump too many cars, you lose control for a few seconds. And during that loss of control, that's how you can smash in the sides too. So you get a symbol to let you know when it's ready, time to jump, and jump over the top. Now, comparing this to Burning Rubber, it actually feels like this version added a lot more cars. But you can, with arcade cabinets, go in the back and flip a few of the dip switches, which allows you to make minor adjustments. Challenge control, because, for example, if you're an arcade operator and your arcade cabinet is not getting enough money, people are playing the game too well, you can make changes in the back of the arcade cabinet. And so this is the base dip switch to play the game, and it's very difficult compared to Burning Rubber. But this is ridiculously good fun. I couldn't agree. Oh, look at this. It's going to do the high score like that. Grab the letter and bring it down there. This is also original. This is considered car combat, vehicular combat, as a racing game. Oh, wait, I didn't want S. Can I go back? Can I rub? Rub. There we go. Can I go down? Oh, yeah, the joystick allows me to not wrap around. Love it. And there, put your high score in, and then keep on going if you got enough. Yeah, continue your play. Let's keep going. We just saw a continue feature available at home with Aztec Challenge on the Atari home computer. The continue feature you just saw me do has been in arcades for at least a year, but it's still fresh to be able to keep putting money in and keep on going where you left off. This is so fun, and you also get to use the jump feature to get over a few cars if you're not in the right spot for a bump. Whoa, I barely made that jump. Uh-oh, I missed the jump. So I'm trying to time it so you can also jump and land on top of cars. Oh, and I barely made it. So much fun. At this point, we've only played a few games that allow you to have car combat or vehicular combat with a car. So one of the very first ones we saw was in 1979 with Death Race that allowed you to run over mutants as you drive around. We also played a game called Crazy Race on the ZX Spectrum that allowed you to run over things or destroy things with your car. And another one we played was Radical Radial, which was awesome. That was you playing as a wheel that's very similar to this. Top-down driving. Ooh, but Radical Radial had more of you getting a shot out. We smashed 15 cars. We get bonus points, and we fill it up. At this point, Data East is still fairly new. Data East has only done 24 games across all platforms, or been involved with 24 games across all platforms. Imagine a world where there's only 24 Data East games. And we're counting all ports and variations and versions that they've ever done. Uh-oh, not gonna... Oh, I got the timing right, because I got bumped around too much. They bumped me before I could jump them. I'm bumping and I'm jumping. Nope. Yes, I highly agree with you, Hunter. Encouraging crashing should always be fun. They even have this quaint little system for your putting in your high score. I love it. All right, let's put another one in. Go, go, go. And continue. For Bally Midway, this is the 11th game that we've seen Bally Midway do. Not just Midway, but Bally Midway has done. This is the 11th game that they've been involved in. Oh, see, I'm glad I moved to the side. I need to speed up. I don't have enough speed there. This racing style game, though, of being driving from the top down, vertical like this, really got popular with Monaco GP. And since then, we've had lots of variants of Monaco GP, this being one of them. This is the 5th game that is like a variant of Monaco GP. So this idea is still so fresh. So much fun, too. Being able to work out the timing to land on the cars. There you go. You can also land and smash yourself forward like that, but you have to time your jump correctly. Here comes another one. Oh, I got hit, so I got slowed down. I'm glad I went over the side. You can watch your speed over there on the left side. Nope. Oh, I made it. Oh, awesome. And it does go through level by level, similar to something like Scramble, seeing stage after stage. Now, they're starting to include rocks, which makes it a little bit difficult. It's awesome. Yep, there you go. Fill it up, and we keep going. That's a good point, Curtis, too. If you don't destroy any cars, if you go the pacifist route, then you get a bonus. A big one. I don't think I could ever do that. So there you go. We have to leave the arcade, sadly. I don't want to leave the arcade. That is so good. I'm going to rate this the same way we rated Burnin' Rubber when we saw it in Japan. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a 5-star game. Of all the games you can be playing across the arcade, it's still original, it's still fresh, and there's really nothing else like it. Radical Radial was close, but it's so niche to be able to say anything's close to this. Looking over in the chat, I see 4.5 stars. Yeah, still one of the best you could play. 4 stars, yep. Excellent. Yeah. High ratings, I'm still saying 5, just like Burnin' Rubber. It's great. Play it if you're at November 1982 right now. All right, we ran out of quarters, so it's time, sadly, for Chronologically Gaming to go on pause until our next episode. Lots more games to see across all platforms, all systems. Next time on Chronologically Gaming is the latest issue of Byte Magazine. How about a game of Risk on an IBM PC? And we are going to the carnival on our Atari 2600. That's it for today, and like I always say, you can always count on video games to provide a new form of entertainment. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.